Find out what's making you sick and how to heal. Anthony William is the medical medium.
Hello, I'm Anthony William, and you're listening to the Medical Medium radio show, where each week I talk about the most advanced healing information and secrets about health, much of which is not found anywhere else and is decades ahead of what's out there now. As I've always said, who has 10 or 20 or 30 years to wait for answers? Do you have 10 years to wait for answers? No, of course not. We need these answers now. Life is precious, and there's no time to spare. So let's get into the show. Let's do this. Today's show is about secrets to a healthy brain. Memory loss, brain fog, brain degeneration are commonly accepted part as aging. But that's not true. It's not about aging. It doesn't have to be the case. You can prevent and heal these conditions today. I will reveal secrets about keeping a healthy brain. A little bit about me. Since the age 4, I was handed a gift. Woke up one morning and heard a voice perfectly clear. The voice helped me figure out what was wrong with my grandmother when she had lung cancer. And since then, I hear the voice every single day, all day long, everywhere I go. Doesn't matter where I am. The voice comes through nonstop and tells me what's wrong with everybody else. Emotionally, physically, spiritually. The answers come through all the time. And I've dedicated my life. I've helped recover tens of thousands of people from illness, chronic illness and disease. And I'm here to help in any way I can. And that's about me. So, off to brain health. Let's talk about this. We're hearing about this a lot, right? About brain health. We're hearing about Alzheimer's, dementia. You may have someone in your family that's dealing with a brain problem, some kind of disorder or disease or illness, or has been given a label like dementia or Alzheimer's. And those are mystery illnesses. See, everything with the brain is mystery. It really is. We're really, really far out there. Really far out there with answers about what we go through with the brain and anything brain related. I mean, we just scratched the surface. Don't get me wrong. There's amazing neurosurgeons. They have robots and they can pull out aneurysms out of people's brains. Absolutely. Incredible surgery techniques, without a doubt. But that's kind of one of a few other things that we have that we're really experts about with the brain. Other than that, there's not much. So if someone's not sleeping good and you get the sleeping test done where you go there, you go to the clinic, you go to the hospital, you go to and you lay on a bed and you sleep and they plug you in with all kinds of electronic diodes and they're setting you up to see what's stopping you from sleeping. And there's really not a lot of answers coming from that. Same thing if we have attention deficit, right? Or, ADD, HD, the whole bit. In either way, that's another thing too. Or if we have brain fog, what causes brain fog? Right? So these are still all mystery. We're still there. And then there's all kinds of other symptoms that we get too, not just memory loss. We get migraines. Migraines are still a mystery. All of these are a mystery. But they don't have to be a mystery. They really don't. Still to this day, no one knows what's causing Alzheimer's disease. To this day. Spirit knows. But, hey, it's going to take some time to get the information out. But as long as you find out what you can do, what causes all these different variations of brain health, poor brain health, that's the most important thing so we can get you feeling better, get you the information. That's what we need to do. So the brain issues that people deal with are on the rise. What's really interesting, too, is there's so many symptoms people get, and it's not contributed to the brain on any level. That's another thing, too, that's occurring. So we walk around chronically sick, and we don't know it's brain-related. Here's an example, chronic fatigue syndrome, right? You've heard of that. Maybe some of you have that, CFS. That often isn't just adrenals. That's a brain and neurological system. What that is, the central nervous system has a low battery. There's something decharging it and putting pressure on the rest of the body. So we get CFS, we get fatigue. So there's a lot of different things that are brain related. So one of the trends right now, and one of the fads and trends in brain health, is pushing it all to the gut, saying it's all gut related. You've probably heard that. So everything's being thrown to, well, it's in the gut, it's in the intestinal health, it's in the intestinal tract, and that's where it's being pushed off to. But that's not really the real answer. That's not unveiling the mystery. It really isn't. See, what happens is there's more to it than just that. Because if that was the case and it was all gut health and it was all these different things around gut health, if it was just all about carbohydrates or all about grains and all about sugar and that causing an intestinal problem, creating a brain problem, well, how come there's so many people that can eat what they want for so many years? I mean, I know people in their 80s that are still eating the same fried food as they were 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 70 years ago. And they don't have a brain problem. They don't have symptoms. They don't have memory loss. They don't have brain fog. They don't have Alzheimer's. They don't have dementia. Why is that? And they're just putting whatever they want in there, chocolate cake, fried food. And then there's people that, if they're eating the fried food and they're eating the chocolate cake and they're eating what they want, yeah, their brain shows some symptoms of some kind of problem. And if they take that out, they start feeling better. But that's not the problem. See, what we like to do, especially with trends and fads, is we like to kind of avoid, maybe not on purpose, but we avoid real hidden things that are going on. And we try to get these snazzy ideas going on. And, hey, it's got to be intestinal health. You need probiotics. And that's the reason for, ADHD. That's the reason for ADD. That's the reason for autism. No. That's the reason for Alzheimer's, dementia, brain fog. No, actually, it's not. That's not the reason. It doesn't help. That's for sure. It doesn't help if you're eating fried food. It doesn't help if you're eating something with fried batter. Fried batter, in some kind of, crazy oil, some oil that comes from another planet or whatever. So, some GMO stuff. It's okay, fine. It's not good to be eating these fried foods and too much bad sugar. What I mean by bad sugar, you know what I mean. The sugar that's in a cupcake, that sugar. So, okay, fine. We eat all these things, and if we take them out, if we remove them, many of us that have symptoms and showcasing symptoms start feeling better with their brain or brain-related symptoms or other symptoms. So then we scratch our heads, and the trend goes, well, yeah, it's all about how good your gut health is. That really isn't true. It just isn't. There's something else going on in that person that when they eat poor foods and poor choices of foods, there's a reaction. There really is. There's a reaction. And many kinds of different reactions. So that's how it kind of works. And we're going to cover this a little bit. So here's the deal. There's something called oxidizing. There's something called, oxidizing. That's the word. Oxidation. That's the word. That word basically means something's breaking down. Something's falling apart or breaking down. That's right. Oxidizing. See, one of the biggest reasons why we have Alzheimer's is because of heavy metals. There's the culprit. I said it. It's one of the culprits. There it is. Heavy metals, such as mercury. Yeah, mercury. I call it the mercury man. Yeah. Or the, mercury ghost. Because mercury's so elusive. It's so stealth. and it's in our system, and it's been in our system for hundreds and hundreds of years. That's right, hundreds of years. We carry mercury, and you're only going to hear this here. You're only going to hear this one here. We carry mercury in us that's 1,000 years old. I know I've said it before. You've probably heard me say this before. But wouldn't you rather hear the truth over and over again instead of something that's really not the real reason why we're having brain problems over and over again? So bear with me when I'm repetitive the best you can. So this is what's happening with mercury. It's ancient. When I mean ancient, it goes back a couple of thousand years in our systems, from our lineage, passed down over the years. It does, and it gets in our cells, and we pass it down to our kin, and we pass it down to our kin, we pass it down to our children, and we pass it down, and it's in the system. And heavy metals, like mercury, oxidize. They do. They oxidize over time. Now, if you only have a little bit of mercury in you, it may oxidize when you're in your 80s, and then you get the old-timers disease. Yeah, that's what they called it, the old-timers disease. Alzheimer's is actually just a fancier word for old-timers because, honestly, they don't really have a good name yet. It was wrong to call it old-timers, and it's wrong to call it Alzheimer's. It really is. They need a better name. It's called mercury poisoning. It's called the oxidizing of mercury. Now, until we get to that place, I don't know, 30 years from now, maybe that will be the time where it's finally, out there or in the news, or then we can kind of head in the right direction. Until we get to that place, we're just going to keep on renaming it. Maybe we'll have Alzheimer's 2, Dementia 2, Dementia 3. Maybe we'll just keep on renaming it. And then, but the truth is, we deal with a lot of heavy metals. And remember when I said oxidize, right? Oxidation. Here's how it works. Metals kind of run off. They run off. So a stream starts to take some of the metal away. The stream is our bloodstream. It's our body fluids. Metal runs off. It oxidizes. And so it oxidizes in people at different rates, people at different times. You can get new mercury in your life. Just bear with me on this. Hang in there for this ride. This ride's going to be a good one today. You can get new mercury intoxication in you, and it reacts different. It oxidizes different. That's right. Older mercury that's 1,000 years old, that's in our system, that was mined out of mercury mines 1,000 years ago. And when people used to mine that stuff out of the mine, when they used to pull that stuff out of the ground, you only had 3 months to live when they used to send people down in there, workers down in there. Basically, it was just a 3-month death sentence. You go down into the earth, you dig out 3 months worth, and then you just lay somewhere and die. And so when that stuff is older, it reacts different too. So it's not exactly all the same. So some people react differently. Some people react another way. Some people react another way. And one thing that oxidizes metals, such as mercury and aluminum and lead, you know of these, and copper, the wrong kind of copper, and, cadmium and nickel, right? The list goes on. Well, what oxidizes these metals is fat. Fat. That's right, fat. The very thing the trendy authorities or trendy experts are claiming is good for your brain. Yeah, just hold back your potatoes and hold back your stones, or rotten tomatoes. Don't throw them too hard at me. I'm a sensitive guy. And yeah, fats. The higher fat ratio in your bloodstream, the faster the metals oxidize, and the quicker we go to Alzheimer's, brain fog, memory loss, dementia, neurological disorders, all kinds of brain degeneration issues, white spots on the brain, dark spots on the brain. That's right. Fats. So, of course, if someone's eating fried food, which is a much more of an intense level of fat, battered, fried in some crazy oil. Even if you just do it once every couple of months, well, hey, I'm eating good, but I only had this fried, whatever this is, once a month, and that's all I do to treat myself. Even if it's that much, it causes this oxidizing. Yeah. And here's how it works. Imagine this. Just hear me out with this one. Well, look at a car engine. Open up your car hood. Take your finger and just rub your finger on your engine. I don't want you to actually do this, though. If you rub your finger on your car engine or under your hood, you'll see a grease spot. You'll see a little grease spot right on your finger. Okay? And that grease has metal in it. That's right. It has metal. That's what it's partially made out of. And so you have that grease stinging on your finger, right? Now, take some grease, some fresh grease, like new grease, or some fat. I mean, even oil. Take some oil, maybe some corn oil, or some lard, and you rub it into your finger, or fresh engine oil. You can go get fresh engine oil and put it on that grease stain and rub it in. And that grease stain will start coming out, even if you've washed your hands already and removed as much grease as you could, and you see an imprint of grease on your finger. You rub that fresh oil in, or that lard, or that bacon oil, whatever. You rub that in your finger, and you'll see that spot come clean. It'll come right out of your finger. And that's what the fats do when they're saturating in the bloodstream and they get to the brain. So if it's bad, poor fatty foods, fatty oils, whatever it is, and you flood your system daily with this high fat content every day, right? And I don't mean just bad fats. I'm talking about good fats. You flood your system with good fats constantly all day, every day, and then you get runoff. Remember I said runoff? That's when the mercury oxidizes and runs off and bleeds. A little stream of mercury, it starts to actually methylate out of its original form. And it runs off in the brain to different places. And it runs off into the liver in different places. And then we start getting the symptoms. Until they figure this one out, we're just, yawn, because it's sad. It's really heartbreaking. And I mean, we can get here someday, we can. Maybe I'll be 90 when we do. I don't know. But the point is so we have to clean up that oxidation. We have to clean up that oxidizing. That's one thing. And that's the cause of Alzheimer's. That's the cause of dementia. You're hearing it here, right here. It's mercury that's been oxidizing, running off. So what happens is, a lot of the trendy diets are remove all the grains. That's what's causing it. Remove all the, whatever, and the sugar, all the sugar. Remove all this. But people improve a little bit with their health when you remove the batter, deep fried stuff. Because that's what it really means. Because people aren't really eating really healthy stuff. When they get pushed into getting healthy, they remove, all of a sudden all the unhealthy stuff and they start improving. But it's not the complete answer. It's about fat reduction. Look, if you're someone that's not dealing with symptoms or brain illness or memory issues and all these other things that you're thinking are problematic, if you're not one dealing with any of that, then hey, maybe you can have the healthier fats higher. And what I mean healthier fats are you can have some maybe salmon, you can have some different animal proteins that are lean. Why does it matter that the animal proteins have to be lean? Do you ever wonder? Why we care now? You mean to tell me the animal proteins that weren't lean before was bad? Because now we're figuring out, for some reason, we stay alive longer if we keep our animal proteins leaner. It's that same thing. We stay alive longer if we keep our fats lower. I'm not saying you have to stop animal protein. I'm not saying you have to stop avocados and nuts and olive oil. And I'm not saying you have to stop those, and coconut oil. No. You just have to be careful it doesn't dominate the diet if you're concerned about brain issues, if you're concerned about someone with Alzheimer's, if you're concerned with someone with dementia. You just have to be cautious. And of course you don't want the junk food. You're not supposed to be eating fried foods. We're just not supposed to. But we do it, we do it, and rightfully so. Look, and I honor that and respect that, believe me. I really do. Absolutely. If anything, everybody deserves a treat. If anything, everybody deserves something fun to eat. This, planet Earth isn't easy. So I'm not the food police. That's not my battle. My battle is getting the information out there so you can help yourself, and maybe health professionals and maybe other experts will catch on a little, and we just won't be going down the trend road all the time. We've been going down the trend road for years and years and years. And like I said, yawn. Seriously. This is about you getting better. I may sound, a little bit sarcastic and stuff at times. Try not to hold it against me. I'm not really that kind of a sarcastic guy, but I just get upset because when I see people suffer, I see people hurting, and I see people not getting better out there and spending thousands of dollars. I'm talking hundreds of thousands of dollars looking for answers for Lyme disease, looking for answers for MS, looking for answers for all their aches and pains, looking for answers for their intestinal tract disorders. When I see people searching and not getting answers, it breaks my heart, especially when I know what the answers are. It is painful. That's really painful. And so, especially when it's children, so that's how it's kind of going. So what about other things with the brain? What does help the brain? Well, there was something that was figured out by science, and I commend this. I commend it, but it's going away again. It's getting lost. It was a phenomenal discovery. Seriously, you guys, it was a phenomenal discovery. Absolutely. Your brain runs on sugar. That's right. They found out your brain runs on sugar. But now it's actually trendy stuff is throwing that one off and trying to tell us our brain runs on fat. So even when we discover something really important and really powerful, okay, it starts to go away like, whoa, where are you going? Hey, wait a minute, the brain runs on sugar. Don't take that away from us, because that's the truth. The brain runs on sugar is the truth. And what it does is it stops oxidation. It stops oxidizing. That's right. And I don't mean bad sugar. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about, mutated sugar. You know what those are. Come on, I don't have to waste your time talking about, the whole corn stuff. And, I don't have to waste your time talking about cane sugar. But the bad sugars are not what we're talking about. I'm talking about the body runs on glucose off of good sugars. The central nervous system runs on that. That's right. That's right. That's why children with ADD, ADHD, autism need more sugar than someone else. That's why someone under stress needs more sugar. If you're under stress, if you're under terrible stress, and you got something going on in your life, no matter what it is, and you take away the carbohydrate, and you just go completely some like you do a ketogenic diet 100%. And I'm not ripping apart ketogenic diets. I'm saying you go that way after you've been through stress, and you'll get fatigued and you won't even be able to think straight. I've watched it 1,000 times, because when you're under stress and you've been through a lot, your neurotransmitters, your electrical impulses, everything depends on glucose, which is sugar, not fats, sugar. We're talking, yeah, that's right. They want to tell you a little something, okay? And 2 chipmunks crossed the road, and this isn't a joke. This isn't like one of those why did the chicken cross the road jokes. 2 chickens crossing the road wouldn't make sense anyway. Okay, 2 chipmunks crossing the road, one gets hit by a car. It's out in the street. It's bleeding. I know this sounds terrible. The other chipmunk, because of the panic and the emotional stress and the injury that's occurring, of what just happened. It runs out in the middle of the road and it drinks the blood of the other chipmunk to stop brain damage because it needs a heightened amount of glucose to stop its own brain from being damaged by the incident it just experienced. Yeah. That's why when you're a child and you go to the doctor's office, you need a lollipop afterwards. You need sugar to the brain as fast as possible to get over the experience. That's why when you get your tonsils out, you're eating ice cream. Well, you're eating ice cream because you like the cool creaminess on the throat. We'll use another example. That's when you go to the dentist and your mom takes you out for ice cream afterwards. That's right. That's why when a child is in the grocery store screaming and crying and having a blood sugar attack because the child's under stress because doesn't want to be in the grocery store or doesn't want to be at the mall and needs some kind of sweet treat of some kind. Glucose for the brain. And it stops us from dying oxidizing. So when you bring fruit in your diet, those fruits have antioxidants. Guess what stops Alzheimer's? Guess what stops dementia and all the other brain disorders? Guess what stops it? Antioxidants. Antioxidants. So when I hear practitioners, and I'm not holding anything against anyone, I promise, I know I sound like I am, but I'm not. When a practitioner says, well, you need to be completely off every bit of sugar possible. No, just have a little thimble of berries. Just a thimble of berries. Have one Granny Smith apple. That's it. The rest be, just vegetables and lean meats and stuff. Where's the antioxidants? Because they're not really in vegetables. They're not. Look. Hold back the stones. Don't hit me too hard. The antioxidants are in fruit. That's where you stop aging. That's where you stop dying. Of course they're in vegetables and leafy greens. Leafy greens actually more than vegetables. Antioxidants are in leafy greens more than vegetables. So, and there's antioxidants to some minute level in other foods, but you want the antioxidants. It is imperative to protect your brain. That's right. So berries with antioxidants and the highest antioxidants possible. You want these in there. And you want glucose. You want your body to be having enough glucose in there to get to the brain when needed, when you're under pressure, when you're under stress, when you're under financial stress. Absolutely. That's why we eat pizza. You didn't know why we ate pizza? Because pizza's like all sugar. It's all the bad sugar. It's the wheat. It's the dairy. Sometimes if you eat a bad pizza, it's fake dairy. The fake dairy, it's just made out of some crazy oil, right? So we eat pizza. The tomato sauce. The tomatoes are great for you anyway, but usually it's some probably real poor rendition on a pizza, of some kind of tomato. So that's why we eat pizza. It's straight sugar. Of course, there's some fat on there too, but it's straight sugar. We love that. We need it as a treat. You had a hard week. It's Friday night. Oh, man, go out for a pizza because you know what? You need this. But I'm not saying do a pizza. There's other ways of doing it. There's other ways. There totally is. But as far as we are now with the trends, it's like, yeah, well, remove these foods and it's all about the gut and that's what the brain's about. It's all about the gut. No, it's all about what you put into your stomach that feeds your brain. It's all about what you put into your stomach that feeds the brain and stops the oxidizing, stops the mercury from running off. Remember when I told you that? Guess what happens too when that oxidizing happens? We get brain inflammation. A whole nother part of why people have brain problems is from inflammation caused by this oxidizing. That's right. Inflammation. They don't have MRI machines to see brain inflammation yet. Did you know that? Did you know they don't have that yet? Did you know that Lyme disease is part of that is brain inflammation? But no, forget it. We're a million miles away. That's the whole reason why I'm putting the book out that I'm putting out. I couldn't take it anymore. Spirit said the book's got to come out now. I was like being lazy, like I don't want to do this. I don't want to put this book out. I don't want to put Medical Medium out. And Spirit said, no, you have to. I said, I don't have time for it. I'm working on people. I'm helping people. And Spirit said, you have to put this out now because we're heading in all these weird directions. And so inflammation, getting brain inflammation down. And that's partly due to the heavy metals and the oxidation because something else occurs. We have viruses in our body, and viruses like to eat heavy metals, and we get more oxidation. It's a whole nother thing. We're going to do another show on this, I promise. We really are. Hydration. You got to be hydrated. You really do. I always talk about that, hydration. If I seem too passionate today, it's because there's so many people dealing with this. Well, there's people dealing with everything. I get it. But we want lots of hydration. Squeeze lemon in water every day. Guess what's in that lemon you squeezed? Antioxidants. And there is sugar. There's fructose in that lemon you're squeezing. What I'm saying is whatever your diet that you adopted or the belief system you adopted with your diets or whatever trend that's coming around, bring in more of a balance. More fruits, more vegetables, more leafy greens. Always bring in more of a balance. It's really important. It really is. So let's talk about some supplements that can help too. B complex. B complex. Get the best one you can find. Real reputable company. B complex is great for the brain. B12. The B12 I always talk about? Because we're ahead of the time here. We're ahead of what's happening out there. I remember doing one forum at one time. I'm talking about adenosylcobalamin mixed with methylcobalamin, and there's someone else doing another form, and they're still back with methylcobalamin. I'm like, whoa. People have to learn. They do. And so adenosylcobalamin, right? A good B12. We talk about that. Keep, follow my Facebook page and everything else. I talk about this stuff all the time. There's a product called Magmind. It's magnesium threonate. It goes to the brain, Magmind. Look that one up, Magmind. You want your plant-based DHA and EPAs. Well, that's different than all the fats. That's a whole nother nutrient that you need. It's not necessarily just for the brain. You need that for every part of your body. This is very important. Turmeric, curcumin, that's a good one for the brain. Spirulina, Hawaiian spirulina. Pull out those heavy metals with the Hawaiian spirulina. Yeah, you can get heavy metals. Don't do chlorella. Chlorella is irresponsible. I'm talking about the nature of it. Chlorella itself is irresponsible. It drops metal literally a micro millisecond after it's absorbed it. Just drops it. Like, it got irresponsible. It got lazy. It doesn't want to do the job. So if you're still on that chlorella kick, that's not going to do it. That is not going to do it. So I'm talking fast today because there's so much in brain health, and I want to give you everything I can in very short time. Zinc, it's critical for the brain. Critical. It's an anti-inflammatory. It really is. Foods. Wild blueberries. Yeah, I've said it before. I'll say it again. Wild blueberries. That's right. Antioxidants. The number one antioxidant food on the planet Earth today. There's not one other food that shuts down oxidation, that shuts down that oxidizing. There's not one other food that does it better than wild blueberries. Cherries do a good job at it, too. They got anti-inflammatory polyphenols in it. Wild blueberries have anti-inflammatory polyphenols in it as well. Celery. Why do I push everybody to do celery? Because Spirit does. I'm sick of celery. And Spirit says, this person needs celery. I'm like, again? And Spirit said, yeah, because this person needs celery. It's critical for the brain. It really is, because of mineral salts. Mineral salts feed the brain as well. They're part of the whole glucose. There's mineral salts in lemon. There's mineral salts in some of these leafy greens, in celery. There's mineral salts in all the fruits. It's there. That's what we need. And avocado. Avocado is more sugar than fat. Yeah, and avocado is more sugar than fat. Years ago, they were like, oh, avocados are bad for you. They're so bad for you. They're all fat. They're bad for your heart. Actually, they're all sugar. They're mostly sugar. They're sugar and water, but we're talking about fructose. Avocado's a fruit, so try not to get me wrong on that. Avocado's good for you. Broccoli. And don't worry about your thyroid with broccoli. You can listen to some of my archive shows on how that works. That's fine. Eat broccoli. So these are some of the things to consider. They really are. And I want you to just look at all of this stuff and maybe even go back to the show again, because I kind of went kind of quick on this. But one thing to know about the brain, I want to tell you, is the brain is not dense. It's not a dense organ. That's not a dense organ at all, even though we say someone may be thick-headed, right? I mean, you've heard the term, could be, I don't know, could be anybody. And you've heard that term. That's been around for a long time. Even though we say that, the brain is far from thick. It's really, really delicate. And it's not dense. And, this is it's a little crazy, but there are people out there that eat animal brains, right? I mean, you've heard about it. It's probably on the food channels, whatever. There's people that have tried some kind of animal brain or whatever. Just so you know, it's sweet. I've never tried it, but there are people who've tried it and claim that it's sweet. Why would it be sweet? Why would it be sweet? How can that be possible? It's sweet and salty. That's what it is. It's sweet and salty. And it's not dense at all because it's saturated in mineral salts and sugar. That's what keeps us alive. So I just wanted to throw that last one out at you as a zinger. So let's take on some calls, and looking forward to helping anybody I can. We got line 1, Eleanor. Hi, Eleanor.
Hi, Anthony. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm kind of like a hodgepodge of symptoms. I'm hoping you can help me. I'll try to shorten this as best I can. I had Lyme disease 20 years ago, and I've never been the same. So I've suffered from, real bad bouts of chronic fatigue has been my main symptom. Past 2 years have been real difficult with loss of a loved one, a sudden loss of a loved one, a lot of grief, and also stressful sales jobs. So I'm just concerned of the damage that the emotional stress has done on my body. I took a medical leave.
Yeah, you're going to be... Yeah, go ahead. You took a medical leave? Okay.
Yes, I had to.
Okay. Of course.
Yeah. So the chronic fatigue had been really bad. More chronic fatigue than not, especially in the past year and a half. But
You have a. It's because you have a chronic case of. It's because you have a classic chronic case of Epstein-Barr that's going unnoticed.
And that's I did have mono at 16. I was hospitalized.
Well, your mono at 19 was your Lyme disease. That was your Lyme disease later on. And that's what happens. That's what goes wrong with the whole Lyme world. Originally, when Lyme disease first came out, and that whole thing in the early 70s, some genius, brilliant doctors, brilliant guys, knew it was viral. They knew it was viral, not bacterial. And for some bizarre reason, the switch was flipped out of nowhere. And I talk about it in the book. And really, it's a viral issue we're talking about. And there's different kinds of viruses. There's a whole bunch of them. We got a ton of viruses out there. Epstein-Barr is a make and model of over 60 varieties of itself. It's mutated. There's so many different varieties. It's constantly being misdiagnosed as Lyme disease all the time. Why do I know this? Because of Spirit. I wouldn't know any of this. I would just be scratching my head you got bit by a tick. And you could have got bit by a tick, but that's not it. What happens is, but it's because, Spirit knows this stuff. You're still dealing with the Epstein-Barr. The mono you had when you were 19 is the Epstein-Barr you're dealing with now. And what happens is that when you go through a crisis of some kind, and you lose a family member, which is heartbreaking. Just devastating tragedy. And when you go through these things, Epstein-Barr tends to take advantage. But you can overcome this. You can overcome this and heal. There's no question. There's no doubt you can overcome this, heal, get back to work, and get past this without a doubt. So any kind of weird symptoms, not only the fatigue, but if you got the tingles and numbness, if you get the heart palpitations, if you get the ear ringing, all that stuff, you can get past this.
Anthony,
there's
if I'm
no
having
question. First thing you.
Dad, I'm sorry.
No, please, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying,
yeah,
go ahead.
Oh, no. All right. So we probably have a delay while we're talking. That kind of B12 I talk about all the time. Make sure you get that in you as soon as you can.
Okay.
That is the ultimate weapon against recovery. I mean, with recovery as far as for Epstein-Barr. If you go to your doctor and you get a test for Epstein-Barr, they're just going to be out to lunch because you had it. So then they can't test for it as seeing it present in the moment. They're not going to see a present test actually. They're not going to see it presently an infection presently in the bloodstream. They're not going to see that. So they're going to be like, oh, it's not this. That's not what it is. And you got to be careful. The doctor doesn't say, well, you got your Lyme disease back. Because it's really just the Epstein-Barr.
Wow.
So that B12 is critical. If you have a good practitioner, a natural practitioner, what you do is you tell the natural practitioner what, Spirit and I see, try to get help. There's a lot of smart guys and girls out there. And they once they know what they're looking at and they're open-minded, you'll get help. You will.
Anthony,
so,
you don't think
go to your...
Yeah, I'm going to go to a chronic fatigue specialist in New Jersey. He's well known for that. So he's more holistic. But do you see? I start to get these little low grade fevers at times, and a little side ache. And I'm thinking, wow, is this more serious? Should I be getting like a abdominal CAT scan of some sort? My dad passed away of pancreatic cancer at 52. I start going in that route.
Yeah.
Can you see anything where maybe I should get something like that checked out, where maybe it is something more serious?
I mean, of course, you could always get everything checked out. Absolutely, you can go and go through all the CAT scans and the MRIs. Spirit sees a viral infection, so that's what we do see, and the spleen is slightly inflamed and partially enlarged. And
that's probably why I'm feeling a little side ache on the left side.
Yeah, and so that's what we're seeing. But of course, go and absolutely and get all, and I like that holistic doctor, the sound of that expert, and, definitely see them. Get on that B12 though, without a doubt. Look at some of my past shows and go into the archives and get a lot of information out of there. I spell out chronic fatigue syndrome in my book. So make sure you check that out too. And thank you so much, Eleanor.
Okay. Thank you, Anthony. Bye-bye.
Bye. So we have line 2, Laureen. Hi, Laureen.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Good. So, yeah, I hear you're not feeling good from Spirit.
No, Spirit is right.
Yeah. No, I know. It's no fun. It's no fun to not be feeling good.
No.
Without a doubt. Are you with a good practitioner Are you working with a good natural practitioner with neurological stuff?
I actually do not have one at the moment.
So you're your own doctor.
Well, I have a GP. That's it. So I'm kind of asking around, hoping to get a good reference from someone trusted for the natural side. Yeah.
No, that's good. Well, you'll find somebody. There's good people out there. Mm-hmm. How is it hard to get? Is it hard to get through your day with the dizzy spells and everything else?
Yes, sometimes I find the summer weather has a big effect on me. The vertigo gets really kind of escalates in the summer weather, and That's the heat. That's a compilation of the heat plus stuff in the sky. There's a lot of stuff floating around at this time of year. Yeah. Where are you up there? Up in Canada? I live in Toronto, yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's a heavy year, believe it or not, of kind of like different kind of heat waves coupled with a lot of toxicity. And if you're sensitive already and you have vertigo, if you have vertigo or you have fatigue or you have all of this stuff, what happens is it worsens when the air is not as good.
Right.
Yeah, and that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is going on? You're not sleeping good?
Yes, I have sleep issues that they also seem to come and go. Nothing ever goes away completely, but I'll go through stretches where I'm just tossing and turning. I don't have trouble getting to sleep, but I don't seem to stay asleep for very long.
Yeah, sleeping problems, it just breaks my heart what people go through. I mean, only people who haven't slept, like yourself at certain times, know what the torture's like. It's one thing I can tell you. Yeah, it's crippling, and it's god awful. One thing I can tell you, you have to understand, this is so important, Lorene, that when you close your eyes between 10 and 2, 10 o'clock p.m. and 2 o'clock a.m. If you close your eyes and you don't sleep, your body heals. You may be tired the next day. You may be, feeling that crippling fatigue as far as that type of tiredness. But you need to know if you lay there between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. and you close your eyes and you keep your anxiety down because you're not sleeping, try not to get frustrated, your body heals. Your immune system recovers and starts to heal. So, and if you sleep even 1 hour between 10 and 2, it's powerful. So just keep a light heart. Whatever you do, keep a light heart and make sure do you eat anything right before bed? Like right before bed?
No, not usually. I'm not much of a night eater. I find that I wake up with food still in my stomach, like my digestion doesn't really.
You have to eat something really light. Like a mango, like something like a mango. Mango's actually, there's a type of glucose and sugar in a mango, along with phytochemicals, phytocompounds in there that actually go to the brain and help you fall asleep. Like it's almost like a glass of milk, the warm glass of milk effect.
Okay.
So do eat like just one bite of a mango. If you could find one in Toronto, I'm sure there's some mangoes kicking around somewhere. Yeah, I'm like ignorant to that. I haven't been to Toronto yet. I haven't been there yet. Yeah, I'm thinking it's like, it's another planet or something, something.
No.
And so what you do, all right, what you do is just have a little bite of a mango right before bed and let it do its magic.
All right.
And then just know that I care. Start with that and know that we love you dearly and hang in there for us.
Thank you, Anthony.
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
Thanks for your help.
Oh, you're welcome.
Bye-bye.
So bye. We'll go to line 3, Elizabeth. Hey, Elizabeth.
Hello?
Hi, Elizabeth. Hi.
Hi, Anthony.
Hey.
Hey, I'm calling because I have like a million problems, and I've had them for a long time. But one recently was I could visualize a giraffe, but I couldn't find the word for giraffe.
Yeah, that's, we're doing a scan right now to double check. Actually, no, it's not what I was thinking. Spirit's telling me exactly what it is. I was jumping ahead of Spirit, which happens. I think I'm a know-it-all sometimes, and I bypass Spirit because I've been taught so much for too many years, and all it does is bite me in the butt because Spirit's saying this is what it is. Let me take a look. We're doing a scan, and we're opening up a scan. So you have a little bit of inflammation in the brain. It's on the left side. It's on the left temporal lobe. So you're inflamed a little bit. And that's what's going on. You have a little bit of brain inflammation right there. You're chronically dehydrated. And you could be drinking water on top of it and trying to get hydrated, but you're chronically dehydrated. And let me just see. And you do have a little bit of pocket of metal. It looks like a combination between a little bit of mercury and a little bit of aluminum. How many years has this been happening?
I've had these problems, a lot of problems, at least 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. And how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking? Hate to ask you.
I'll be 48 next week.
Oh, so you're young. Ah, okay. You're a kid. Mm-hmm. You want to do the spirulina, and you want it in your life on a regular basis.
Okay.
You really do. You want to be constant. You want to get the mercury. It's a little touch of it, a little bit of aluminum. You want to do that. And you want more leafy greens. Try to get a little bit more leafy greens, the ones that you like. I don't want to force you to eat your spinach, but try to get a little bit more of the leafy greens in there if you can.
I eat a lot of leafy greens. I'll pretty much eat everything. I love greens. It's just that my system usually will not digest them. So I have your system's digesting them, but you're feeling them because you got you have a sensitive nervous system. Yeah.
So what's happening is Spirit's saying because your nervous system is sensitive, once that food's rumbling through your intestinal tract, it's touching everything, and you're going to feel it. You're really going to feel it. So what you need, you have juice cucumbers. Get some cucumbers from the store, juice them, okay, and have 8 ounces of cucumber juice daily to start acting as a tonic to soothe the nerves on the lining of the intestinal tract. Okay, every single day you do that cucumber juice. Of course, there might be a day you can't do it and whatever, you don't have cucumbers, but you just, run those cucumbers through the juicer. Have it, 6-8 ounces of cucumber juice daily. Okay, that'll start to heal and mend the lining of the intestinal tract. The nerve endings are so hypersensitive. So when you eat your leafy greens, you'll feel it. Another thing, too, is you need a high-quality fat. Make sure you're doing avocado. I'm sure you're doing some avocado, but make sure you do avocado in the diet. The avocado is a blend of a high quality of fat in omega-3, 6s, the omega-6s, and then mixed with the glucose, meaning the fructose that's in the avocado. When those are blended together with the avocado and then combined with your leafy greens, your leafy greens will absorb. They'll digest better and absorb. Mm-hmm. Try to focus on that. The other thing is wild blueberries. Spirit says brain-wise, for memory, for anything going on, for brain fog, get some wild blueberries in there.
Okay. What about frozen wild blueberries?
That's actually the best kind. Okay, that's the best kind. Believe it or not, when they freeze the wild blueberry, it's more potent than if it was eaten fresh. Unlike other fruits, it's less potent when eaten fresh, but when you freeze the wild blueberry, it makes it more potent.
Okay, great.
That's because the food is 20,000 years old. That's why. And it can handle anything, and it only improves. It's adaptogenic. So do that. I'm so proud of you, and bless your heart. Take one day at a time, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Great. So we talked about brain health today, and we'll have to do another show. And we'll really cover it in more of it. There's so much to know about it. And we're going to cover a lot of things. We're going to have a big show on Lyme disease. We're going to have a big show on all these different things. There's no question. We have to get the information out there. We need people feeling better. That's what it's all about, really. Listen, it's all about you healing. That's what matters. That's why I got this gift. It's so you can get the information, so you can get better. That's why I'm here. So it matters to me that you learn and you grow and you get the information. Take one step at a time. Baby steps are fine. There's nothing wrong with baby steps. If this is a lot, you take one of the things I'm offering that Spirit wants, one of the things that Spirit's offering, you take one of those, 2 of those, and it's going to help greatly. It can turn things around. Look, it's about going the opposite direction, meaning the direction of getting healthy. Bless you. I love you. And talk to you next week.